A good day, people. Hope everyone is well. Happy almost New Year. What we're doing this video is talk a little bit about communication technologies, and how those are related to afterlife beliefs and the sense that one is outside of the here and now, or the degree to which immortality is promised by or somehow nested in just everyday experiences of communication and communication technologies. And some of this was precipitated. It's a wonderful little book here called The Handbook um, in the History of Philosophy, and it spans all the way back to the pre-Socratics in the ancient world, all the way through the medieval and the modern period. And it's fascinating because it's not only collections of all of these people who have passed, but it's all written in English. And so, most of the people represented in here did not speak English, did not write in English, and yet the book has allowed all of those people to sort of escape where they were in history and now be part of this ongoing socio-historical tapestry that we call, history and or culture. It's funny, if I have the book out and then my dog comes up and can be petting at the book, kind of knocking it, suggesting what's so important about this. And the dog sort of reminds us that we're our organisms who, at one level of analysis, we're respirating and metabolizing and in some way just locally here in and now. And yet with communication technologies, we get well outside of those. We experience ourselves as, again, situated and located within a socio-historical context. And how else would it be possible, were it not for calendars and for literacy, for these people to have outlived their actual circumstances in the places where they were? I mean, it's in taking a name that they've already had a bid for being more than just an evanescent happening here, just respirating. Or take something like something obvious, like the everyday sense of speaking. So as I'm speaking right now, the words that I'm uttering are occurring in this like moment of enunciation. So there's this actual moment where I'm speaking each word that occurs, and it's like a linear unfolding where one word occurs after the other, and it's only in the moment of now that I'm saying the particular word that I'm saying. And so to that extent, I mean, the language seems like it's like a razor slice of an atomistic series of fragments, and yet it's only by way of language that I'm able to radically get out of that now that I'm here in. I can ask about yesterday, I can ask about tomorrow or 3 weeks from now, or I can ask about my infancy or where my grandparents came from. We experience a kind of transcendence with speech. Think of something like all the ways that money, as a communication technology, as a medium of exchange, all the ways that money, it gives us this taste for immortality, this taste of being more than just located at the body's boundaries here and now. That, I mean, not only does money, like all the, going all the way back to like Roman coins, do you have like printing of historical figures, noted political figures, and there's, again, sort of like a transcendence of those people. Or like, I remember when the 50 franc note, I guess, France regularly changes their money, and the 50 franc note came out with Saint-Exupéry on it, right? The French novelist who wrote Little Prince, right? I mean, they're commemorate, and I think it was when they found a piece of his lightning, maybe it was in 92, somewhere around there. But this commemorating of people and recognizing of historical figures by printing them on money. Well, that's a sort of like a symbolic way that, like, money is it's a symbol that represents a kind of immortality, but it's so much more than that. It's, as Burke would say, you can flip a leper a coin. That is, it allows for a kind of charitable involvement without entanglement. That is, it's a naturally transcending experience. It's not caught in the friction of pure barter culture. It's there at a symbolic level as a recognized value that's outside of an immediate value. And People sometimes they'll save their money, and they hoard all their money. Maybe they're not as charitable as they'd like to be, but then at the end of their life, they can, through a will, perform actions and bestow goods and benefits upon others even after they're dead. And notice the will is this communication technology. We write down a last will and testament. It's interesting that when you take a book, a common practice was to take a flower and to put the flower in the pages of the book and then press the book. And in that way, a kind of permanent, the dried flower, its beauty is in somewhat, it's collapsed or condensed, but it's retained. You're able to dry the flower and give it a longer lasting, or a sense of immortality that it wouldn't have as it's just growing and dying off the vine. These videos, people post videos, and now whether they get taken down or not is one question. Somebody could say, take that video down, and they disappear. Now maybe somebody else has already downloaded it and it's already out there and it can't be contained. And so that has that sense again of being more than where it is. Or even right now, this video, as I'm talking, where is this video? Where and when is it? Is it when I was recording it? Is it as you're listening to it right now? Is it in your room? Is it in my room? Is it in every room that it's being watched? Is it on the internet? See, this question of where and when it is, it's interesting because it forces this issue that communication and communication technology, they're illustrations that we're more than just caught to the surface of the body, right? The fleshy, bounded surface we can see, it's very real. It's not to deny that, but it's to recognize that with communication, we are larger and other than ourselves. We've grown into socio-historic, symbolic creatures of transcendence, who experience ourselves as roving across vast spaces, domains of meaning, and in a socio-historical context. I think the videos, they're almost like a bid to outlive oneself, to leave a lasting record, even if one gets hit by a bus later in the day, that somehow there will be something that lives on. And I see this so much with like Facebook pages that have been constructed, maintained, and then the person dies and they become memorial sites. Even memorial sites, as communication media, as parts of architecture that are designed to designate spaces, right? People put up a tombstone, they make an inscription on the tombstone. I guess the long and short of it is that when we're talking about communication and communication technologies, I think they're a primal source of the human sense of immortality, of an afterlife, of some sort of beyond what it means to be oneself. What one has already been otherized by falling into the socio-historical condition of language, acquiring a name, acquiring a language, learning how to read and write. All of these, learning the calendar and how to place oneself in socio-historical contexts with certain kinds of meaning horizons. All of these, right? They're part of just everyday experience, and then it gives us this taste for eternality, this taste for timelessness that I think easily gets displaced and maybe misunderstood. So, okay, hope everyone is well, and Happy New Year. Okay, bye.